After finishing my first playthrough of I Was a Teenage Excolonist, I was shocked at the quality of this game. From the storytelling, the world building, player choice, and the characters. I, however, was not as shocked to see the lack of discourse around the game. Disappointed, but not exactly shocked. It's a niche game with niche gameplay, and it asks its players to actually think and question their own morals and ethical affinities. It's not exactly a game for everyone, and you know what? That's totally okay. And I think the fact it doesn't compromise its identity as a science fiction game or its cozy aesthetics is part of its charm. And maybe, just maybe, it's a game for you. But first, let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Foxheart, and it's a pleasure to meet you, and welcome to my comfy corner of YouTube. If you like cozy gaming, art, and books, then you're in the right place. So why not pull up a floofy beanbag or a soft chair and stay a while? Or just as long as you like. No expectations or pressure, just a time to recharge and listen. Though comments are always welcome, so let's gush about our cozy, quiet, but meaningful media together. But why make a video about a niche indie game? Simple. I think this game deserves it. It deserves more recognition, and I want a chance to convince people to play it, because I think it just might be worth your time. Ultimately, though, it's your decision. Remember, I'm just a fox on the internet. But for now, why not grab your Earl Grey hot and strawberries, and let's talk about I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. First of all, what's this game about? I'm going to be very spoiler light, as I think this game should really be experienced with as little foreknowledge as possible. But you play a child born on the spaceship, the Stratospheric, and you're heading toward a colony planet. During this trip, though, you have to go through the wormhole, and you experience some strange occurrences before landing, or rather, crashing at your destination, which is planet Ventremuna, or Planet V as I call it. You must now live out the next 10 years, from age 10 to 20, helping out the colony. Or not. Assisting your peers. Or not. Exploring the alien planet, or I think you get the idea. It's a life sim in the form of a visual novel with light RPG elements, such as building up stats for your character, collecting items and gear, and building a card deck that you use to defeat a variety of challenges throughout the game. While the gameplay is fun, staying simplistic without being boring, there are already some videos out there that explain the minutiae of the gameplay much better than I ever could, and I'll link them in the description below. What I really think makes the game worthwhile and worth playing is, yes, of course, the story. And the art, of course. The aesthetics are amazing, and I love all of it. From the art on the cards, to the sprites, to the 2D character designs in the conversations, the watercolor backgrounds, everything. But I'm a simple fox, and I love pretty things. Though a game can have the most gorgeous designs and graphics, and if it's as shallow as a rain puddle on a sidewalk, it's not going to hold my interest for very long. Thankfully, Teenage Exocolonist doesn't have that problem. While the deck building and the increasing stats is entertaining, I think it's how the game handles its sci-fi tropes and player choice is what really makes it shine for me, and makes me want to shove it in people's faces, like my son's latest grasshopper victim. And the stars are merciful because it's winter, so no grasshoppers for a while. But what are these tropes that I keep harping on about? Well, one of the Teenage Excolonist's main ideas is pretty common in science fiction. It explores the dynamic between the colonists and the alien planet that they now inhabit. The presentation of this story arc is fairly well done. Even later on in the game, when certain events happen with the colonists, I don't want to get too spoilery about it, but I never really felt pushed to one side or the other. Never felt pushed towards the alien planet or the colonists. Instead, I was allowed to follow my own course. I actually found myself falling in love with Planet V, despite all of the tragedy that occurs because of the clash between the colonists and the alien life forms. Now, part of that is because of the art is so stunning in this game. Soft pastel watercolor vibe that makes you forget you're in a hostile alien environment. I mean, even the monsters are cute. Just look at this guy. Look! And as part of my first playthrough, I actually found myself caring very little about what was going on within the colony. And that is until something bad happened. But mostly I just wanted to explore the maps. This says way more about my introverted nature than anything the game did. Only that the game did not force me into doing anything. It let me experience things in my own way and left me to experience the consequences of those actions in the choices I made by ignoring the colony. Not only did we have bizarrely alien planet complete with fauna-like creatures turning into flora in their later life stages, which is very Speaker of the Dead by Orson Scott Card, and much better than Ender's Game in my opinion, or with the origins of the colonists being a homogenous cult, which again goes back to another one of my favorite sci-fi novels called The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. There are sentient computers, ruins of a super civilization that make up a rather cohesive story altogether. And the most important and probably the most science fiction-y aspect is the time travel. Well, it's not exactly time travel in the conventional sense. You're not hopping into a time machine or a blue police box. But perhaps a better way to explain it isn't traveling so much as experiencing a time loop of your life. And each time you re enter that loop, you take the knowledge from the previous life, which blends in perfectly with the idea of player choice and how beautifully unique, at least to me, that Exocolonist offers agency to its players. Now, I'm not claiming Teenage Exocolonist is the only game that does this. I think there are several out there. I just haven't experienced it. And I've been gaming for a very long time. So I don't think this technique is often used, especially in today's sort of gaming landscape, as many games try to make it so that the player can experience the full game with enough planning in a single playthrough. And I'm not here to debate the validity of this approach, only to tell you that this is not how the Teenage Exocolonist does it. And it makes the game feel so much more layered because of it. So let's talk about the whole idea of player choice and agency. As I mentioned before, Teenage Exocolonist does allow the player to do kind of whatever they want within the world itself. If you wish to foster a relationship with your fellow colonists, you can. If you want to pursue creative arts, biology, or just be a layabout and laze in the lounge or in the gardens the entire year, you can also do those things. While the game recommends you focus on a few stats instead of sort of trying to have a broad range of them, it doesn't stop you from doing whatever you want in regards to how you build your character. These things are pretty standard in any game that promotes player choice, and Teenage Exocolonist does a good job of staying out of the player's way and letting them both the benefits and the drawbacks of their decisions. The aspect that really drives this home, however, is the next life feature in the game. When you reach the end of your game at age 20, you're given a sort of summary of how the rest of your life is lived. The lives of your closest friends, the colony itself, and then you get the option to start all over. Only the decisions that you've made and the events you've experienced carry over to your next life, giving you more options in how you affect the world around you. Imagine knowing that one of the characters is going to die. You can stop it if you choose to, but you also have the choice to ignore it. You're no longer going in blind, but also changing the flow of time by acting on the prior knowledge can have different effects within the game. And I think this is a wonderfully intriguing way of blending the genre trope, that of science fiction aspects of alternate timelines or time loops, and the idea of if you could see the future, would you change it with player choice and agency? The science fiction trope not only informs the story, it helps inform the gameplay. How cool is that? It's cool. It's very cool. It made me eager to finish my first playthrough. And when my epilogue was finished and that option to hit the start new life appeared on my screen, you better believe my fuzzy fox butt I clicked it. So now the question is the second playthrough as satisfying and compelling as the first? Well, I'll let you know when I'm finished. But for right now, I just want to bring some attention to this game. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist feels like a love letter to the science fiction books and shows that I love, such as Firefly, Star Trek The Next Generation, Hyperion, and so many more, some previously mentioned. A love letter wrapped up in cozy aesthetics that let the player fall in love with the world and begs the question, if I was given a second chance, could I do better? Well, that's all I have for right now in regards to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Thank you for joining me on this little ramble. I hope perhaps that I've convinced someone to check out this game and that they love it as much as I've come to love and appreciate it. If you've played it, go ahead and tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And all opinions are welcome as long as they are respectful. As for now, if you enjoyed my little soul fan art, feel free to grab it in the pinned comments below. And until next time, have a fuzzy, wuzzy day.